Ladies and gentlemen, there is something about the silence of the night that speaks louder than the noise of the day. If you have ever found yourself waking up between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m., I want you to know this is not a coincidence. This is a sign that life is whispering to you, nudging you, asking you to listen. But the question is, are you paying attention? The world is quiet between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. And if you want to get instant gratification, the world is quiet between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. The streets are empty, the chaos has settled, and everything stands still. In these hours, when the rest of the world is deep in slumber, something extraordinary happens. You wake up. Not because of an alarm, not because of noise, but because something deep inside you refuses to let you sleep. It is in these moments that life is trying to tell you something you might have been too busy to hear during the day. This is not just another restless night. It is an invitation to transformation, to self-discovery, to something far greater than what you have been allowing yourself to believe. Most people see waking up at this hour as an inconvenience. They toss and turn, trying to force themselves back to sleep, thinking about how exhausted they will feel the next day. But what if, instead of fighting it, you embraced it? What if, instead of seeing this as an interruption, you saw it as an opportunity? Because the truth is, not everyone wakes up at this hour. There is something about this time that is deeply spiritual, profoundly meaningful, and undeniably powerful. In these early morning hours, before the sun rises and before the demands of the day take over, the universe creates a rare space for reflection. This is the time when your thoughts are unfiltered, when your emotions surface without distractions, and when your heart speaks the loudest. It is in these moments that you can hear the voice within you, the one that often gets drowned out by the noise of daily life, the voice that asks you, are you truly happy? Are you living the life you were meant to live? Is there something more waiting for you? These are not easy questions to face, and that is why so many people try to silence them. They reach for their phones, they distract themselves, they convince themselves that they just need more sleep. But the truth is, if you're waking up at this hour, there is something you need to confront. Transformation is not something that happens in loud, crowded places. It does not happen when you're surrounded by people who tell you what you want to hear. It happens in solitude, it happens in silence, it happens in the moments when you are alone with your thoughts, with your fears, and with your dreams. And this hour between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. is the perfect time for that transformation to begin. It is in this quiet space that you can truly see yourself, not as the world expects you to be, but as you really are. When you wake up in the middle of the night, you are not the same person you are during the day. During the day, you wear masks. You smile when you don't feel like it. You say you're fine when you're not. You push your dreams aside because life seems too busy. But at this hour, there is no one to impress, no expectations to meet, no distractions to hide behind. It is just you and your truth. And maybe that is why so many people fear this hour, because it forces them to face themselves. But what if, instead of fearing it, you embraced it? What if, instead of rolling over and trying to force yourself back to sleep, you sat with yourself and listened? You might hear the voice inside you reminding you of the dreams you abandoned. You might remember the passions you once had before life convinced you they weren't practical. You might feel the weight of emotions you've been ignoring, the sadness, the longing, the hope that refuses to die. This is not something to run from. This is something to pay attention to. Waking up between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. is not just about sleeplessness. It is about awakening. It is about recognizing that there is something within you that needs to be acknowledged. Maybe it is a deep yearning for change. Maybe it is a call to start something new. Maybe it is a reminder that you are meant for more than what you have settled for. Whatever it is, this hour is the universe's way of nudging you toward it. And yet, so many people waste this time. They overthink, they worry, they tell themselves that they need more rest. But the truth is, the most meaningful transformations do not come from comfort, they come from discomfort. From those moments when you are forced to sit with yourself and ask the hard questions. Who are you really? What do you want? What is holding you back? The answers to these questions are not easy, but they are necessary. Because once you face them, you cannot go back to pretending they do not exist. This hour is not just about waking up physically, it is about waking up emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. It is about understanding that life is giving you a chance to reconnect with yourself in a way that the daytime never allows. It is about stepping into your power and realizing that you are not lost. You are just being called to something greater. So the next time you wake up between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m., do not fight it. Do not dismiss it. Do not waste it. Instead, embrace it. Listen to what your heart is trying to tell you. Write down your thoughts, your fears, your dreams. Sit in silence and let yourself feel, because in these moments you are not just awake, you are awakening. And that is where true transformation begins. There are moments in life when everything around you falls silent, yet something inside you is louder than ever. Between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m., when the world sleeps and distractions fade, your soul begins to whisper. It speaks in feelings, in thoughts you've pushed aside, in dreams you once believed in but abandoned. This is not just another restless night. It is an invitation, a gentle nudge from the universe, reminding you to listen, to truly listen. But how often do we pay attention? How often do we honor the voice within us? The truth is, most people ignore it. They wake up, feel restless, and either scroll through their phones or fight to fall back asleep. They convince themselves it is just another sleepless night, nothing more. But what if this is not random? What if, in this quiet hour, your heart is trying to tell you something you need to hear? During the day, life moves fast. We are constantly occupied answering messages, chasing deadlines, fulfilling responsibilities. There is hardly a moment to pause and reflect. Our minds are consumed with noise, expectations from others, doubts, fears, and endless distractions. But in the stillness of the early morning, when everything else fades, something powerful happens. The distractions disappear, the masks we wear during the day come off, and we are left with nothing but ourselves. It is in this moment that our soul finally gets a chance to speak. And yet, listening to our own soul is not always easy. It often speaks in ways we don't expect, in the form of emotions we've suppressed, memories we've tried to forget, or dreams we've convinced ourselves are impossible. It reminds us of the things we truly desire but have been too afraid to pursue. It brings to the surface the pain we need to heal, the change we need to embrace, and the truths we need to accept. This is why so many people avoid listening, because facing ourselves can be uncomfortable. But ignoring it does not make it go away. The more we push it aside, the louder it gets. That feeling of restlessness, that ache in your heart, that longing for something more, these are not coincidences. They are messages. Your soul is asking you to listen. So the next time you wake up at this hour, don't silence it. Instead, sit with it. Close your eyes and breathe. Ask yourself, what is my heart trying to tell me? What am I feeling? What have I been avoiding? And then listen. Truly listen. Not with fear, not with judgment, but with open. Maybe your soul is reminding you of a dream you left behind. Maybe it is telling you to let go of something that is no longer serving you. Maybe it is guiding you toward a new path, a new purpose, a new beginning. Whatever it is, trust it. Because deep down, you already know what you need. You just have to be willing to hear it. Some of the most life-changing realizations come in these quiet moments. The answers you have been searching for are already within you. Your heart knows the way, even when your mind is filled with doubt. But you must be willing to listen. You must be brave enough to follow. So when you wake up between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m., don't see it as an inconvenience. See it as a gift, a rare moment where the universe gives you time with yourself. Don't fill it with distraction. Don't rush to go back to sleep. Instead, listen to the whispers of your soul, because in those whispers you might just find the truth you've been looking for. In the stillness of the early morning, when the world is quiet and distractions fade, thoughts from the past often resurface. Moments long gone, decisions once made, paths not taken, all of them return asking to be acknowledged. It is easy to feel overwhelmed by these memories, to sink into regret regret, to wish that things had been different. But regret is a heavy burden, one that keeps you chained to a past that cannot be changed. The true power of looking back is not in wishing things had been different, but in learning from them, growing through them, and using them as stepping stones to something greater. Regret makes you a prisoner of the past, constantly replaying what went wrong and drowning in self-pity. It convinces you that you should have known better, that you made the wrong choices, that you wasted time. But regret does not change the past. It only steals your present. It is a never-ending cycle of self-blame, one that leaves no room for growth. Reflection, on the other hand, is different. Reflection allows you to look back not with sorrow, but with understanding. It turns mistakes into lessons, failures into wisdom, and pain into strength. Everyone has moments they wish they could rewrite, choices they would make differently if given the chance, but dwelling on them with regret only deepens the wound. Instead of asking, "Why did this happen to me?" ask, "What did this teach me?" Every experience, no matter how painful, carries a lesson. Sometimes it teaches resilience. Sometimes it teaches patience. Sometimes it reveals hidden strength. But these lessons can only be learned when you stop seeing your past as a series of mistakes and start seeing it as a journey of growth. Looking back with learning means accepting that you did the best you could with what you knew at the time. Hindsight is always clear, but in the moment you made choices based on your understanding, emotions, and circumstances. Holding on to regret for not knowing then what you know now is unfair to yourself. Growth means evolving, and evolving means that at times you will outgrow the decisions of your past. That is not failure, that is progress. Painful experiences often come with the temptation to label them as wasted time. A failed relationship, a career setback, a missed opportunity. All of them can feel like time lost, but nothing is truly wasted if it leads to growth. Even heartbreak teaches love. Even failure teaches perseverance. Even loss teaches gratitude. The key is to shift your perspective from "I should have done better" to "I am better because of it." There are moments when self-pity feels comforting, as though dwelling in regret can somehow change what has already happened. But the truth is, it only deepens the wound. You do not need to punish yourself for the past. You need to learn from it. When you reflect instead of regret, you take control of your narrative. You stop seeing yourself as a victim of your choices and start seeing yourself as someone who has gained wisdom from them. Reflection also allows you to recognize patterns. When you pause and truly examine your past, you begin to see what choices led you to certain outcomes. You begin to notice the habits that no longer serve you, the mindsets that held you back, and the fears that kept you from moving forward. Awareness is the first step toward change, and without reflection, awareness is impossible. In the quiet hours between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m., the past often comes knocking. But instead of letting it haunt you, let it teach you. Instead of seeing it as a reminder of what went wrong, see it as a map guiding you toward what can go right. The past is not meant to be a weight you carry. It is meant to be a lesson that empowers you. Every moment you have lived, every decision you have made has shaped the person you are today. And the person you are today is not defined by regret, but by the strength to reflect, to learn, and to keep moving forward. In the quiet hours of the early morning, when the world is still and thoughts become louder, it is easy to focus on what is missing. The mind naturally drifts toward regrets, unfulfilled desires, and unanswered prayer. It fixates on what could have been, what should have been, and what is still out of reach. In these moments, gloom creeps in, wrapping itself around the heart like a heavy fog, making it difficult to see anything but emptiness. But the truth is, even in the darkest moments, there is something to be grateful for. Even in the midst of longing, there is something already present, something valuable, something meaningful. The challenge is not in finding it, but in shifting focus to see it. Gratitude is a powerful force, one that has the ability to transform not just thoughts, but entire lives. It does not erase pain, nor does it invalidate struggles, but it brings balance. It reminds you that even as you yearn for more, you already have so much. The problem is that the human mind is conditioned to seek what is lacking. It notices the gaps before it acknowledges the fullness. It counts disappointments more readily than blessings, and in doing so, it creates a narrative of scarcity, one that convinces you that happiness is always just out of reach, always dependent on something yet to come. But what if, instead of focusing on what is missing, you chose to see what is already there? What if, in those early hours, instead of dwelling on the dreams yet to be fulfilled, you reminded yourself of the ones that already have been? There was a time when you wished for things that you have now. There were moments when you longed for what is currently part of your reality, but the mind, always chasing more, often forgets to pause and acknowledge how far it has come. Gratitude is not about denying struggles or pretending that everything is perfect. It is about recognizing that even in the midst of difficulties, there is goodness. Even in uncertainty, there are small certainties to hold on to. The breath in your lungs, the roof over your head, the people who care for you, the lessons you have learned. These are not insignificant. They are reminders that life, despite its challenges, continues to offer something worth appreciating. The danger of dwelling in gloom is that it blinds you to the beauty that still exists. It convinces you that joy is for others, that fulfillment is always elsewhere, that peace is always in the future. But gratitude shifts the lens. It allows you to see that even in this moment, there is something to be thankful for. Even if life is not exactly as you envisioned it, even if there are still unanswered prayers, even if the road ahead feels uncertain, there is something in the present that holds value. It is easy to compare, to look at others and feel as though their lives are more complete, their journeys more fulfilling. Social media, conversations, fleeting glimpses into the lives of others, these things often create the illusion that everyone else has figured it out, that they are standing in the light while you remain in the shadows. But comparison is a thief, one that robs you of the ability to appreciate your own story. The truth is, everyone has struggles. Everyone has moments of doubt, of longing, of wishing for more. The difference lies in where they place their focus. Gratitude is not a natural habit. It is a practice. It requires intentionality. It requires waking up and choosing, despite the imperfections, to see the good. It requires pausing in moments of frustration to acknowledge what is still right. It is not a denial of hardship, but a refusal to let hardship define everything. When gratitude becomes a way of thinking, it changes not just moods but perspectives. It turns ordinary moments into blessings. It transforms the simple into the extraordinary. There will always be something more to achieve, something more to long for, something more to strive toward. Ambition is natural and dreams are necessary. But the danger is in postponing happiness until those dreams are realized. If fulfillment is always tied to the next milestone, the next achievement, the next change, then it will forever be just out of reach. True peace comes not from having everything, but from recognizing the value of what is already here. So when the morning stillness brings thoughts of what is missing, when the weight of longing feels overwhelming, remember to shift the focus. There is something in this moment that is worthy of gratitude. There is something in your life right now that is good, and by choosing to see it, by embracing it, by holding on to it, the gloom begins to fade and the light begins to shine through. Thoughts are fleeting. They come and go like waves, sometimes soft and steady, other times overwhelming and chaotic. The mind is a constant stream of emotions, ideas, dreams, and worries, all fighting for attention. In the stillness of the early morning, when distractions are absent and the world is quiet, these thoughts become louder. They demand to be heard, but if left unspoken or unwritten, they often slip away, lost in the noise of the day. This is why writing is so powerful. It is not just an act of recording words. It is an act of understanding, of making sense of the intangible, of giving structure to the thoughts that would otherwise remain scattered. Thinking alone is not enough. The mind is complex, and thoughts are often tangled, overlapping, and contradicting. One moment, there is a surge of motivation, a realization of something important, a deep insight about life, but without writing it down, that thought may fade before it ever takes root. How many times have great ideas been lost simply because they were never captured? How many moments of clarity have been forgotten because they were never put into words?